this is just during my heading. I'm on my phone now because my camera needs sorting out and it keeps dying on me for random reasons and I don't know why, and I'm getting really angry. I'm really mad. So you can see a shadow behind me. Anyways, yeah, so I went to Accrington police station. I was doing a video with Into the Shadows. Amazing people, by the way. So kind, so sweet. They're just making sure you're okay and not feeling sick or ill or anything, which is really nice of them. But also with the experience that I had and with the thing that's been attached to me, it's getting a bit weird and creeped out, and I still think it's attached to me and I don't know why or what. But yeah, I've got an attachment for one thing. The second thing, it was with me at the night, and soon as I went up to the building of the place, I have my phone, which is there, but it was before it became a police station. It was to do with monks, and monks got, I think 3 monks died at the place, and then it became a police and courts room. So there's 2 courtrooms. It's been on Most Haunted, and it's also been on, I think it's just been on Most Haunted. But yeah, there was criminals. I say criminals, murderers, criminals, you name it. There was also really bad people and bad energy in that place. So yeah, really, really, really scary to think about, really. So as soon as I went through the doors, immediately I always feel heavy things. So I felt sick and I felt really well, I was sick on the day, but I was feeling okay for the night. But it was just the thought of going into rooms that made me feel really, you know, really, really sick. So I didn't like that. But anyways, and also when we went through court 1, there was a lot of activity going on already. We heard bangs, we heard a bit of like slamming doors, but it was really, really active the night. We constantly kept hearing tapping on windows. We constantly kept hearing footsteps, and it was just the whole night was creepy itself. But yeah, I don't dare stepping into that place anymore. But the whole experience itself, my experience, it was just so eerie and so creepy to think about, and I'm not even exaggerating this at all. This was my experience, and if anyone else has had the exact same experience of ghosts, comment, because I want to know, and I want to know your experience of ghosts and stuff like that, and paranormal especially, because I believe in it now and I have an attachment, so yay. Well, the attachment itself started when I was 13 at my old high school, and me and my best friend thought, you know what, let's go ghost hunting. I did tell you the story about, I think a couple of months ago, but me and my best friend thought we can go ghost hunting and had an experience of really bad things. My school itself is haunted and they do ghost hunting there, so yeah, that's not a good surprise for me specifically. But there was just this room that I always had my classes in all the time, and it was also a detention room as well, so it was used for both detention and for classes, so that's the reason why. But it was just, the whole experience itself was just unbelievable, and the attachment of the black figure that is attached to me, I don't know why, but it is, and I don't like it at all. So yeah, but it was with me on the night, and as soon as I walked through the door to go to the little room where everyone was meeting with, as soon as I looked down that corridor, because it was pitch black, as soon as I looked down that corridor, I saw the shadow figure of the man that has been attached to me, and I was like, no. My anxiety started going really, really high at the time, and it was like, no, just a whole immediate no. It was just so scary to think that the attachment that I have is still there with me, and it would not move. It would not go back to the place, I don't think. But yeah. But also, it was just, we went down to the cells first, which was kind of eerie because cells are where prisoners were held. Cell number 5 was very active. All the other cells weren't, but it was just cell number 5 that had the bad energy. Constant banging on the door, banging on the walls. There was tapping noises coming from the walls as well, and a lot of people did experience that. And we were all lining against the wall, like we had 2 lines, like there and there. So I was here right behind door number 5, and with my uncle who was with me at the time, and we all looked at each other and were like, can you hear running down the stairs? So they radioed through, and we asked one of the team members, we said, can you just radio to someone if anyone's running down the stairs, just real quick. She radioed through, no one was running down the stairs, and we were like, bro, this is freaky. Like, we can hear running down the stairs, and it's literally the stairs, like the gate of the door was there, and then behind it was another door with the steps. That was where it was coming from. We can literally hear it, and we were literally across from the other room where you could hear the door from the steps coming down, and it was just so freaky to see and hear the steps like running like do, 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 down the stairs. It was like my heart was pounding at this point. I was like, no, this is just, no, this is scary, too scary to even think about it. But yeah, so that we had that, we had a few entities coming in and out of the room just to see if it recognises us. We spoke to a couple of people. We spoke to mostly guards and not prisoners. But we did speak to the prisoner of door number 5, which was kind of scary. And it was a really angry prisoner. Let's just say that. Really angry prisoner. We also heard, like, we were mostly talking to, like, security guards and stuff like that, which was really freaky, but we wanted to know their story. And then we went to a bigger room where we met, pretty much everyone was in the room with us, and we were all circling around, had EMFs, we had a teddy bear that lights up, we had spirit boxes, we had everything, like every gadget. We even had cat balls and a Ouija board. You do not mess with the Ouija boards, by the way. They say Ouija board, no. So we had 2 Ouija boards. We had the original Ouija board, and then we had the circle Ouija board, which is like a round, it's like the exact same replica as of an Ouija board, but in a circle basically. And it had yes and no in the middle, and then it had numbers at the top, and then the alphabet around, and then yes and no. It was like that. But yeah, that was freaky, I'll tell you that. But we had an experience with one of the guards as well. So we also talked to a prison that was in court 2. We went to 2 courts. There was court 1 and court 2. Court 1's the biggest court, and then court 2's the smallest courtroom. So that's where like they do the murder and the crime and everything, I think. But yeah, so we were all held around in a circle in this big room, all around in the circle, just holding hands to make sure the entities can come through us, to stand in the middle to see if it recognises us. We were having a little bit of a laugh with the ghosts and spirits because we had the EMFs that weren't going, only spiked to green, and then spiked to orange, and then back to green, and then back to orange. It was back and forth each time, but it was just so funny the way it was. We were having a laugh with them, so we were like, stop this one, stop that one, stop that one, and it was just so funny because they're all, and then it spiked a little bit and it went, stop it, and it just went back to green. So it was a little bit funny. We had 2 teddy bears that light up. From head, it lights all the body up. From the shoulders, it just lights the arm up. From the legs, it lights the legs up. So, one of the teddies only went off a couple of times and the other one didn't. And we wanted to get the other one to set the other one, like the other teddy to set it off, but it didn't. So that was a bit odd for that one, but it only set that one off. It was just the whole experience itself was incredible. But when we went down to the kitchen, because I lost my nan, I say 2 years ago now? No, 2 years ago I lost my nan. Okay, this made me cry a little bit. I did cry. I spoke to my nan through the Ouija board. Now, you can have good experiences with the Ouija board if you can open it right and close it right. And some other people don't know how to open a Ouija board properly and close it properly, so we had people that know how to open a Ouija board and know how to close it properly, so that was a good hand. But I spoke to my nan through the Ouija board, which did make me cry. I was crying and I was like, no. And then my uncle decided to say this question: do you have an attachment to anyone in this room? And there was only 5 people. My uncle, me, and then 3 other people, and then the guide. So there was 6 people of us. And it immediately went straight to yes. Now, the guy did say spirits do mess around on the Ouija boards and they do like to play a little bit of a game. So I was like, right, okay, that's a bit skeptic about that. But when my uncle was like, do you have an attachment in the room? Immediately went to yes. And then it said, point out who you have an attachment with. Immediately, the little glass just went and pointed to me. And I was like, no, this is incredible. Like, why? Why me? Specifically, why me? So that was quite interesting with the Ouija board. We also, I don't know if anyone heard that, but okay. We also had an experience with another Ouija board, but the original Ouija board. We were in courtroom 2 and we were talking to someone called Clark, I think it was, Clark. And he died in 1962 because he told us what year he died. So it was 1962, he died. And he got sent, I think, for burglary and armed burglary. So we knew that straight away because of the Ouija board. But when we had this, it was like a camera, a big massive like iPad, and it had an app of where stick figures, you can see stick figures. And I don't know what the specific word is called, but that's what it was called. We had that, and the stick figure of the ghost that we were talking to was literally attached on the right hand side of my uncle's shoulder, and it was attached to him. And then as soon as we said goodbye, it went. And now when we put the camera above on the top of where the balcony is, where the family sits in the courtroom, we pointed the camera up there, and there's at least 5 stick figures, probably a little bit more stick figures at the top there, which was really freaky to see on the thing. But you know, it was a little bit freaky. But yeah. But I had to get a medium to help me get rid of this entity and this attachment that I specifically have. And she saged me down fully from head to toe. So then whenever it does come back and I do see it again, I can call them to tell them. They'll come to our house and sage the house and tell this demon thing to go away and leave me alone and trap it in a box. So it doesn't come anywhere near me ever again. Which is, I'm hoping it wouldn't do that again to me, because I don't want that happening to me ever again. I don't want attachment. I don't like attachments. They're just so scary and freaking freaky to just even think about it. But yeah, so with this whole thing, ghost hunting, stuff like that happens, it is a little bit freaky to see. There's a little bit freaky stories and backgrounds of the place of Accrington Courts Police. It's just an eerie place to think, because when the owner of it constantly keep hearing noises inside, and I think that person thinks that people are trying to break into the building when there's no one in the building and it's literally boarded up. You can't get into, there's no way you can get into that building at all. So it was a little bit freaky to hear about that, but yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did, and I hope you understand of the experience that I specifically had with this building and the attachment that I have. My cat is meowing currently and it shoves my head in. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave it a like. I am so sorry for the quality. I am so sorry for my camera that keeps dying on me. And it's got new batteries in. I charged it up. It's got new batteries in. It's doing my blooming head in. So yeah, thank you. And I'll speak to you in another video.